You ever go fishing and not have exactly everything you need? You got everything, but you could use some other stuff, some specialized equipment to make your life easier. All right. Well, we're gonna learn you about this here equipment that will make your life easier, and
Amen.
also stop you from getting cancer, too.
Yeah, indeed. Because cancer's bad, okay?
For the most part.
And a bad day of fishing. It's still better than a good day of working, but it can suck.
Indeed.
So, let's teach you. So, really, there's like 5 things. You know, there's just, you might run into deep water conditions or something. You might, if you're on the bank, you know, you might need to wade through some water or something to get where you need to go. And, you know, you don't want soggy bottoms.
No.
Then, you know, there's just some tools that you need that just make your life easier.
Indeed.
Let's go over. I think we'll start with the most obvious one, and then the one that like every fisherman just should have.
Yeah.
The first thing we're going to talk about in this video, I feel like it's the most obvious one. It's the one that really just about every fisherman needs it.
Indeed.
Because if you don't have it, there's a possibility that you're going to kill fish, and you're just going to make your life a lot harder when it comes to fishing.
Indeed.
Now, that's going to be pliers and or a multi-tool. And then just various other like tools like line cutters. So pliers really make your life easier, especially when you're trying to de-hook a fish. Maybe you got that hook deep in the bass's throat, maybe all the way down in its gullet.
Stuck in the crushers.
Or maybe you just can't get your hand in the mouth to really get it out. It happens, and pliers, specifically fishing specified needle nose.
Yeah.
You want that longer, I really don't know what you'd call this on pliers. I guess the neck to the jaws of it. You really need that to be longer. That way you can really reach down the throat. They make even more specified ones with a bent neck now.
Indeed.
That really let you get down in there and get some leverage. But just have a pair of pliers. You're going to want some like cutters down here, these jaws. Whether you're cutting line or maybe you need to cut a barb off a hook, something like that.
Yep.
Also, you can have, if you go with this route, you can get line cutters specifically. Just stick your line in there. They look like toenail clippers or something. You just cut that line, and they do works really well. Trey, he goes the multi-tool route.
Indeed. I have right here a Leatherman Free P4, and it was the first Leatherman ever created with a single-handed opening mechanism. You just flip it up like a butterfly knife, and you have your pliers here. They have relatively short jaws when compared to fishing-specific pliers, but I found that I could do this maneuver and make up that extra length that I don't have in the actual jaws. But I primarily...
Little squirrel behind us.
But I primarily use these for the, or use the scissors more than anything else. These really come in handy. They cut braid just fine. They cut mono and fluoro just fine. And I have also, while trout fishing, used the knives on hand to clean trout, which is nice.
Good, I had a yawn. But that's pretty much wraps it up. I mean, you really just need pliers, help you with de-hooking a fish. It really helps. I mean, there's several uses for pliers, like we said, cutting line, being able to grip a hook. You, like we said, you want teeth on your pliers. No matter what pliers you get whichever works best for you, but make sure you have them teeth on there so you can really grip your hook or whatever you're trying to grab. It'll make your life so much easier.
Indeed.
I also carry a knife on my bag. Trey has that covered in his multi-tool. That's really a compact form of just having all your tools in one, but to each his own. Next, I think we'll just talk about what I just got my pliers out of, and that's tackle bag or backpack. These make life so much easier. This is the Ozark Trail one. It's $40. Trey carries an H2O Express one. It's $50.
Yep.
Being able to carry all your tackle in one place and just easily right on your back, and just have 4 3600s there. Yeah. And then have storage space for other stuff, which some of the stuff in this pouch we'll talk about in a minute. Other baits, other stuff like that. Being able to store spools of line up here in the top pouch That's so nice. And then I have a whole buttload of soft plastics in the top.
Indeed.
Being able to carry all your tackle. Now you might say, like Logan or Trey, why not just carry a tackle box? You know, I got a little Plano tackle box that I carry around, or Flambeau tackle box. Well, that's great. And if that's what you like doing,
Yeah.
perfectly fine. But having a tackle box takes up, I mean, you have to hold it
Yeah.
in your hands. This, I sling it on my back and I can walk for miles and never have to worry about it. It just goes with me wherever I go. Tackle box, I'm sitting it down, I might walk off from it, and then I have to walk all the way back.
Yep.
Get it? And as I'm walking, I want to be fishing. I don't want to be fooling around with a tackle box. And a lot of tackle boxes are big, cumbersome, and can be heavy.
You know, if you have a massive tackle box as like your home tackle organization,
Right.
those massive ones are really good for that.
Yeah,
But like,
that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I keep a tackle box inside that I use as like my home base for tackle storage.
but when you're actually out in the field fishing, having a cumbersome or even just a normal, normal Plano tackle box,
Yeah, like your guide series, different boxes.
though the fact that you can't cast and carry it at the same time is very bothersome. Never mind the fact that for their size, they don't carry a lot of stuff.
Right.
You can't fit a whole lot into them, especially soft plastics, because a lot of soft plastics now come in massive packs or boxes or something.
Yep.
They don't exactly fit the best.
Mm-hmm.
So if they work for you, and let's say you only fish for catfish or something like that, you just need hooks, weights, and live bait. By all means, sit there and catch you some catfish. But for bass fishing, they, in my mind and Logan's mind, are not the most optimum route.
Right. And again, guys, this video is specifically geared for bass fishing, and that whether you're pond hopping, you're out on a boat, either way, I think tackle backpack's the way to go.
Yep. If you prefer sling
you
bags,
can be so much more technique specific.
yeah.
I mean, you got 4 different 3600s here, and different bags carry different boxes. They carry different amounts of boxes. But I have a jig box. I got a cranking box. I got a topwater box. You know, I got all these different boxes, and this lets me get really technique specific. If you're carrying around a little tackle box, you know, you got like 1 or 2 levels, and then all your stuff's in there, and then you got like a deep section that you can put bait, like soft plastics in. Or if you're carrying a big one, yeah, you might have 3 or 4 drawers in that sucker that you can get technique specific with. But then at that point, it's so cumbersome.
Yep.
It's just not efficient.
And if you don't like to carry around a lot of bass fishing stuff, but you do see the allure of having a pack with straps, you can definitely find sling packs.
Yeah,
They
sling
crossbody bags that hold
Even
2 or
just-
3 boxes.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, I think Plano, the Weekender bags.
Yeah.
You know, you can just throw over the strap like a messenger bag and carry it around like that.
Spiderwire makes one.
Yeah, yeah.
I own that one too.
Mm-hmm. There's so many options out there. Choose you a tackle bag or tackle backpack over a tackle box if you're a serious bass angler.
Indeed.
Now, if you're a boat guy, you know, you got all kinds of storage compartments in your boat, so you don't really have to worry about it so much. But say you're like a co-angler or something, a backpack is just the way to go.
Indeed.
And then we'll move on to the third thing.
Yep.
And I have that stored in my tackle backpack. That's a scale. So this one is not necessarily a necessity, but it does allow you the pleasure of knowing the weight of the fishes you catch, and most of the time, most scales now come with a tape, so you can also know the length.
Indeed.
That's really nice. And there's all kinds of scales out there and stuff. Everybody makes one, and usually they're like 50 to 100 pound scales.
Yeah.
Now you're like, well, why would I need a scale that big for bass? You don't.
No.
You really don't. I mean, the biggest bass on record is like 22.7. You don't need a 50 to 100 pound scale, but that's just what the majority of them are, and they do work, and they're accurate most of the time. Now, make sure you get a good scale. I mean,
Yeah.
not necessarily a high-end scale or high-price scale, but just, you know, check it with other scales.
Mhm.
Like, say your buddy has a scale, or you have an old style scale. Check it and make sure that it's accurate.
Indeed.
Because if your scale's not accurate, that can cause you some problems, especially like tournament anglers.
Yep. I mean, nothing's worse when you think that you broke your PB and it turns out your scale was off by a whole pound.
Yeah.
And you didn't break your PB.
Right. And then, you know, also, if you constantly use a scale, like we use the scale all the time when we don't need to. Like, we're not catching big fish, but we just want to get to where we can really just tell by looking at the fish.
Yeah, make a good estimation.
Yeah, we want to be able to learn how to guesstimate properly on a bass its weight. So we use scales constantly on like
pound and a half fish. Yeah.
All the way up to 5+. So we really just want to be able to guesstimate like that, and having a scale is just a nice little tool to have.
And my personal pet peeve is that, you know, you see so many YouTube anglers and stuff, they'll be catching massive fish and they never have a scale.
I just caught a 9-pounder. Well, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'd like to see the number on the scale, because
show me that that's a 9-pounder, because really it looks like a 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice fish. I don't know why you'd lie about it, but you know, you're attributing an additional 5 pounds to your fish. Now, we will say this. YouTube, or on camera, bass do tend to just look smaller.
They do. Keep a scale on you.
Yeah, it's helpful. Again, it just makes life easier.
Indeed.
And it can really help you when it comes to weight identification or length identification of a bass.
Also, be sure to use, if you can, the lip grippers that a lot of scales come with, just in case you accidentally nick them in the gills with the hook. Right.
And pay attention to the style of lip gripper you get, though, because some of those can rip through a bass's mouth and just leave them with giant holes that can make it harder for them to feed. So, like I said, just pay attention to the scale you're getting. Make sure you get a good one.
Yep.
So the next one is one I will again say none of this stuff is like, well, I would say pliers.
Pliers are necessary.
Yeah. But none of this stuff is absolutely a necessity to have, but again, it makes your life easier.
Indeed.
And it just makes fishing so much more enjoyable. So the next thing we're going to talk about, I'm only going to bring one up. Muck boots.
Yep.
You can see I got mud and junk on mine. But muck boots are one of man's great creations.
Indeed.
Keeps your feet dry and lets you wade through water to get to them good fish.
Indeed.
Sometimes you might need to move a foot or two out into the water, or 3, or if your water's not too deep, to really be able to cast around a tree or just be able to cast to a good point. Muck boots make that so much easier.
Yes.
We're saying muck boots, but we're just talking about all waterproof wading boots.
Indeed.
Basically. Good pair of wading boots, that's what we'll say. It keeps the water off your feet, keeps the mud off your feet. Sometimes it can get sloppy out there on the bank.
Indeed.
Let's be honest. And just a good pair of wading boots will really do you good.
I suppose you could substitute this with like thigh-high waders, or waist waders.
Absolutely.
Or full-size waders.
I was going to say all the way up to chest.
Especially if you're fishing cold stuff, or just really going deep in there. Let's say you're fishing in a stream and you want to get, chest deep in the stream.
Right. Oh, and that's another thing. I'm glad you said that. Like months like this, when it's cold, that keeps your feet warm.
Indeed.
Indeed. Like, you get out there and you get your feet wet in January, February.
It's rough.
Some frostbite. Gosh dang it. And that makes it all worthwhile.
Indeed.
Right there. Yeah. That's really all we had to say about that, but
personally, I would recommend insulated ones and not just rubber ones, just for
honestly,
the heat factor.
I've had several different brands, Muck, Lacrosse, just other stuff.
Yep.
No name Magellan, or well, not Magellan, Habit, house brand. I would just recommend Muck boots in general. I just think they're the highest quality. They're the toughest, and they come in so many different styles.
Yep.
But not a sponsor, so I'm not going to tell you to only get Muck boots. And that moves us in to our last thing. which also has to do with clothing.
Yep.
When you're out bass fishing, or really any type of fishing, you're outside, so you're exposed to the sun.
UV radiation.
Indeed. And we're terrible about it. We're always getting burnt, and we're just out there. We're really bad about it, but this one we will say, because it's definitely optional, but in the long run it probably is worth it. And we need to get better at it ourselves. But that is sun protection, whether that be through performance fishing shirts such as this one, or like Neckos or neck gaiters, whatever you want to call them.
Yep.
Hats, glasses, all that stuff. You don't want to wind up with cancer.
No.
And we know it happens. It's a common thing to happen to bass fishermen, is to get skin cancer.
Yep.
And it's from the sun. You're getting sunburn, and in the long run that is very harmful to you.
Indeed.
Like I say, if you want to make sure you look good, you don't want the skin cancer. You don't want the sunspots all over you. You don't want all kinds of stuff. Which not all bass fishermen are exactly
Health conscious
or cosmetically conscious.
Sure. Go with that.
You know what I'm saying? But
also,
we're hardy people.
Also, performance gear has other uses too. Like, most performance gear shirts are moisture wicking.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're a sweaty sun gun, like both of us, really.
Yeah.
This really helps. This helps your body still breathe. It's more breathable than cotton or anything, and it helps that really sweat reduction, I guess, technically, just through wicking. But it keeps you feeling dry.
And face masks, Neckos, whatever you want to call them, they also act as wind screens.
Mm-hmm.
If you're running for a long time on a lake, this will keep you from getting a wind burn or something.
Absolutely.
And then sunglasses and hat, obviously, if you're bald or something, balding like me, keep your head from getting sunburned. And glasses, nobody likes catching a jig to the eye.
Right.
Which I've done and knocked out this lens before. Saved my eye, but the glasses helped me, so.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I also recommend wearing a sports cup to protect your boys. Just joking about that one. But nobody likes a hook to
the groin. So, anyways.
Sun gear.
Indeed.
Sun protection. All kinds of stuff. But as an overall recap, tackle backpacks, pliers and various line clippers and multi-tools and all that stuff, sun protection, muck boots, scale. All of these things are not necessarily necessary, but they do make your life easier. They make it easier on the fish, I would think.
If you want to fish harder, longer, and more effectively, consider these if you don't have them already.
And it's only 5 things, guys. It's not like we're not trying to make this overly complicated for you or anything. We're trying to make it less complicated for you.
You can literally go to the Walmart and pick up all 5 of these things in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
If you were that hard
and
to upgrade
mostly inexpensive.
Yeah.
You don't have to get a hook or Columbia or anything.
Avco.
Yeah. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. It's all the same stuff.
I use the Real Tree fishing stuff. It works fine.
This is a Habit. This is Sam's Club house brand. It's like $13.
Yeah.
It's a shirt.
Necco, you get it for free in the Essentials kit from 10,000 Fish. So
yeah, yes, all these tools, inexpensive backpacks. $40, $50 gets you a good one.
Muck boots are easily the most expensive.
Yeah, really are. Yeah.
And if you already have a pair of Western boots or something that are leather, you can use those
if they are waterproof.
If they are waterproof.
Don't take out your suede boots.
No, no.
It's not a good idea.
Especially blue suede.
Yeah.
But,
don't step on my blue suede shoes.
Exactly.
Muck boots now, you can get Muck brand Muck boots
for
sub $100.
easily.
I mean,
Roll King.
Yeah, I think they got like $180 pair of Muck Boots on sale right now for like $100. So, I mean, the Arctic Pros.
Yeah.
You can go get you some nice boots, cheap. I mean, you know, at least
Obtainable cost.
yeah, obtainable cost. I mean, you know, we understand that cost is different for everybody, but it's really not that much.
No.
I think you can see it. This is Christmas time after all.
Indeed. And with that,
We'll wrap this up, right?
yeah, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Check out the end screen where we'll have a couple videos of me and Logan unbagging, technically,
Yeah.
unbagging some a bait haul.
Also, our 5 rods
Yeah.
you need as a bass angler. That kind of goes along with this video, so we'll put that one on there.
Indeed. And with that, I think we're done here.